time blocking out the show. And then,
a
of
frantic
course,
5 minutes before the show starts.
that's not true.
Yeah.
We've been talking about the show all day, and,
Yeah.
and we haven't done that always. So that's kind of a
You
new
might,
thing.
you might not notice it before, but sometimes we mail these things in.
We're really trying not to. We're really doing, like, the best job ever. I just want to make sure
Hi,
that
Jen.
we can see the comments.
Hi, Angel.
and whatnot. Oh, Angel's here too, and Jeff Marshall. You guys having a watching party?
We're gonna have a little watching party. We're gonna have a little
anniversary watching party.
Oh my goodness! Happy anniversary, hon.
Happy anniversary, babe.
Hey, what is 5-year anniversary?
Mwah. I think it's Star Wars toys. And possibly guitars. Maybe. James Judah is here. Very exciting. We should probably wait until there are a few more people on.
Before we
And
really
then
get started
we can really get started.
with this amazing show.
Sean
Hello, Sean
O'Brien.
O'Brien. How are you, sir?
Can I just tell you that Sean O'Brien posted something, and I saw it today,
I know what you're talking about.
and it just makes him, first of all, it makes me love him even more. And he posted about if you're feeling bad about asking for help, if you don't have enough food for yourself or your family,
Yeah.
he will share what he has with you. And it seemed like it was part of a movement, and more people were doing it as well. And I just love that. So thank you, Sean O'Brien, for being not only a wonderful guy and clearly a great chef, but also a humanitarian.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Probably a little bit, but you know.
Okay, fine. We're up to 5 full people.
I'm telling you.
You know why? 'Cause
Vicky
I
Salapande, Jim
think-
Pericotti.
I think it's more. I think maybe they're having a little watching party. I'm kind of
Mhm.
hoping so. Riddles is here. So officially, for anybody that's new here, I'm that's handsome boyfriend Dave,
Hola.
and you are now watching the Worst Talk Show. We apologize if you remain with us the entire time that you won't be able to get your hour back.
Sorry, we don't give refunds.
It is a special anniversary show. 5 years ago tomorrow, so at the stroke of midnight tonight, we will have
She said
officially
stroke.
been together 5 years. And sometimes it feels like a stroke.
Sometimes it feels like I've
Sometimes
had
it
a
doesn't.
stroke. Sometimes it feels like a lot longer than 5 years.
We're going to have a Newlywed Game Style lightning round at 8 o'clock. So get your questions ready. This is producer Casey Riddles
I'm
came
ready
up
to
with
go.
the idea. And basically, you guys are going to ask us questions about each other to see how much we actually know about each other. Do you need a little dab, honey? A little
Thank you,
dab?
thank you
Little
very
dab? And me? Wait. Under the bangs.
Oh my goodness.
Don't let them see. Okay, I'll bet. I'm watching on my bike along the river trail. It's a lovely soundtrack. That's awesome. Hi, Kay McGowan.
How are ya?
Jean Dante. Lots of our fun people are here.
Stacy Lines feeling fine.
So, if you have a question, if you want to quiz me about how much I know about Dave, or quiz Dave about how much he knows about me,
Why was that so funny?
because a lot of our viewers may have some untoward stories about my single life or my youthful days.
Really?
Or perhaps some of your relatives who watch may have a fun and interesting question for me, apple cider
Not
jump
likely.
shot, that,
Not likely.
you know, could bring up some things. So you never know. So we're going to get to that at 8 o'clock. Angel likes our first date story, which we may or may not tell this evening, depending on what you ask. It's a doozy. But also, so that's at 8 o'clock. So get your questions ready, write them down so you don't forget. We are also going to talk about things that we watched this week, things that we listened to this week, and things that we ate this week.
Chachi Lupret is watching.
Hi, Chachi!
Chachi!
Oh my goodness.
Paul
Love you.
Santoro, how
Love
are
you,
you, sir?
Chachi! Yay! So, you know, if you recommendations, and I feel like when I go specifically on Facebook, but not always, that everybody's looking for something else to watch.
We're all stuck inside. We can't go out and do the things we normally do.
Well, okay, the smart ones.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that, though, because I haven't taken my medication. So anyway, we're all stuck inside. We have all this time, and what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Read books? Sorry.
So we came up with our list of stuff that we watched this week that you might like. Things that we listened to this week that we think you will like, and of course things that we ate because we obviously like to eat.
We like to eat things.
And so Casey has already come up with a lot of questions. Again, come up with your own. That is happening right at 8 o'clock, which you may have to hit me when it's 8 o'clock. Or I can look on the...
No, I can see it.
Can you see it? Okay, good. Man, don't get old. It's a trap, and your eyesight is going to go...
That's it.
Never needed glasses a day in my life until I started needing a day job maybe 4 years ago.
Ruined you.
I had to look at a computer screen all day. And
ruined you.
That was that, and now I have readers strewn about the house.
Oh, please. We're lousy with them.
Everywhere. I mean, you think I shed hair? I shed readers, everywhere in our house.
You
Hi,
shed
George.
readers like
Thank
cats
you.
shed fur.
Mwah.
Riding around town like Raymond Burr. Sorry.
Does Jim Pericotti think you look like Jerry Orbach from Law and Order? Is that what the hair is?
No.
I didn't notice what the.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what's going on, or maybe you were just referencing something else. I should know better than to ask. Anyway, thank you, George. Glad you're here. So that's coming up at 8 o'clock. Get your questions ready. We are going to start with things that we watched this week.
What do we watch this week? Do we start on a certain day?
I think we should just start with the thing that we were least likely to watch on purpose.
All right, and
yet we did.
Listen, Angie says, "Oh yeah, it's the least likely thing I would have watched."
Well,
Zac Efron, Down to Earth. Okay, what is it on? Is it on Netflix
God. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on one of those streaming services. So Zac Efron and his sidekick, who's like his health guru.
And by sidekick, somebody much older than him and taller.
Almost like a father figure who's like jacked.
Picture a less handsome Laird Hamilton. This guy seems like he's a surfer dude.
Maybe a little older than that, but jacked.
Wrote books about eating clean.
Right,
He's a vegan. He's very healthy. And somehow Zac Efron has become his,
they're bros.
His Padawan,
It is kind of a bro show. And there are a couple times, they go all over the world apparently, but this week's episode was Iceland.
Yes. Which I've actually been to.
So, Zac Efron and his friend
his pal
are all over Iceland looking at stuff, and half the time Zac is like this.
Yeah, we're kind of suspecting that maybe some weed is involved.
I'm thinking there's some weed involved.
Now, I understand this show isn't necessarily created for our age bracket. Fine. And I do applaud Zac Efron for being so interested in sustainable energy.
That's what the show is really about.
You know, keeping the planet green, and that's one of the reasons they go to Iceland, because
the geothermal.
It uses so much clean energy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of sickening. I mean, screw them.
But they don't necessarily know how to host a TV show, and ask smart questions?
No, not so much.
Not so bright. Either that or they're just super high, which
this
is
is what we were
totally
thinking,
possible.
right?
By the way, Zac Efron does not look like you're picturing him in your head.
No, he's got a beard.
He's filled out a little, he's ridiculously buff, and a full beard, and his eyes are very sparkly.
And when they're not red.
There was actually an argument thread on my Facebook as to, are you sure he's not on our team, by some of my favorite gays. Like, they were just really kind of upset.
Hi, Jim Murray.
He just looks like such a cuddly, handsome and yeah.
Stacy Lines, Zac Efron is a hunk. He's a freaking babe.
She called him a freaking babe. And he is. So I would urge you to at least, if you like, give it a shot.
You know.
They have some tasty food.
Oh, some really interesting stuff.
Really weird, interesting stuff.
Mm.
But mostly we think they're high.
Oh, wait. They bake bread in a pot in the ground.
Yes, so Iceland it's all volcanic. And when you drive around Iceland, like I went to Reykjavik for the Icelandic Airways Music Festival in 2001. Right.
She can't remember.
11. But they have certain parts of the ground that if you just scrape the ground, there's boiling water there. So they cook, they boil eggs.
Your feet get hot in shoes.
Yeah.
And they're like, so they dig a hole and they made this. They
decided they were going to make bread.
They made bread, but it's not. They didn't just go, let's make bread. It was this traditional rye bread that they made. So
with an awful lot of sugar, which
it was like a strange thing. So what it came out like when they came back an hour later, or however long it was, it looked like a giant loaf of brown bread in a can.
It looked like brown bread from a can, and anybody that grew up in New England knows exactly what we're
You know
talking
what I'm saying?
about. And the vegan guy probably hadn't had sugar in quite some time, and he's like, let me just have a little taste. And the next thing you know, he's like
mowing on it, right?
You're like, oh, you haven't had sugar in a while, have you?
Right. Then the Icelandic guy says, oh, wait, let's make breakfast. And he's like, he takes 3 eggs, and he puts them in the little puddle of boiling water on the sand.
Yeah, and I think it takes 15 minutes or something.
So they cook the eggs right there on the,
It's definitely bizarre.
Scrape off the volcanic sand. Anyway, we spent too much time on this.
Okay, so
check it out if you're interested in Zac Efron.
Keith Bennett says he saw tardy for the party. That's okay.
That's all right.
Gilly says happy anniversary. I love you, Andrea Gillis.
We do love you.
Bob Tarasi as well.
Hello.
So Zac Efron was the least of the things that we watched, but we just thought it was funny to mention.
Right.
So we did also watch something that I was kind of on the fence about watching, which was the new Hulu movie Andy Samberg project.
Palm Springs. It's a revamp of Groundhog Day, really.
Revamp? It is Groundhog Day. It's just with 2 people stuck in the loop instead of 1.
Actually 3. Right?
Well, that's kind of a spoiler. But.
So there you go. But anyhow, Andy Samberg is...
It's not very funny.
It's not especially funny.
No, you would really think Lonely Island guy, this would be hysterical.
Yeah, I mean, he's got his moments, but this was just kind of...
Cody.
If you got nothing better to do.
Yeah, if you're really desperate for something to watch in sort of a rom-com fashion, then Palm Springs is your thing. The only saving grace about this, J.K. Simmons.
I love him.
He's in everything, and we
love
him in everything.
The ubiquitous J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Right? He is everywhere.
Yeah. I believe he probably has the combination of being a very nice guy to work with, having excellent representation, and saying yes to everything.
Right. Yeah.
Which is fine. Good for you, J.K.
Yep.
Get your J.K. Simmons on. Now, one of the biggest surprises of the week, and something I kind of forced Dave into, was to watch the Amy Schumer docuseries on HBO Max, which is called
Expecting
Amy. And I follow her on Instagram, so I kind of knew what was going on. She had a very, very, very difficult pregnancy.
Yeah, so she's pregnant. And you never saw a person throw up as much as her.
That's the only problem. If you cannot deal with anybody puking or pukey-like sounds, you cannot watch this docuseries because you will be puking immediately.
Casey wants to remind you that you're supposed to say spoiler alert before you actually spoil it.
What did we spoil?
I don't know. You did it. I don't spoil things.
I haven't spoiled anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
So anyhow, Amy Schumer, pregnant, and throwing up all the time. Horrible. Like, you feel bad.
Well, it turns out she actually has...
She has a thing, right. She has
clinical diagnosis
exactly.
that, 1 in every 3 babies survives this particular thing that she has.
Right,
so
a lot
it's
of people,
really scary.
So, what's amazing is that, maybe you like Amy Schumer. I personally like her.
I do too.
I think
know
she's
a lot
funny.
of people hate Amy Schumer.
The newness wore off a little for me, but you know what? I still think she's funny.
what I really like about her is that, like, I had to go review that movie that she had, that she starred in, I think produced last year, about a woman who wakes up, she's overweight and doesn't feel good about herself.
I Feel Pretty.
She hits her head and wakes up and she looks and thinks she's fantastic, but her body hasn't changed.
Yeah, it's just her.
Her outlook has.
Her outlook has,
And
yeah.
I had all new respect for her about that. And then she just doesn't give an F about what she
Anything.
looks like without
She
makeup
was
or naked.
fearless.
She's absolutely fearless.
Guys.
You see her naked several times.
Yes, I mean,
in the
she's
docuseries.
fearless.
Yeah.
And I gotta hand it to her.
So I never thought we'd even get Dave like to sit through
No,
the
I
whole
was
first
kinda like-
episode. But the second episode, I was like, do you want to just keep going? And he was like, okay.
Yeah,
And
I
was
want
like,
to find out what
yes.
happened,
So we watched that whole docuseries, and it's a lovely, in and of itself, it's definitely about her pregnancy. It's also about her husband. And her husband, we fell in love with him.
Yeah,
didn't we?
Chris Fisher.
Chris Fisher, who's a chef from Martha's Vineyard,
Right.
gets diagnosed with.
Well, this is the thing. They get together because his sister becomes her assistant.
Yeah, and they're
Right.
like, we got to introduce you to Chris.
So they hit it off.
But we don't
and
get to tell them everything about it.
Anyway, the guy has a very dry sense of humor. Kind of quirky.
And then we find out that he's on the spectrum. And he's got a late adult diagnosis that literally happened.
That Amy actually made
During
like
the
was like, hey,
docuseries.
let's go and check this out.
And the best thing is that there's such a stigma about autism, and she says the things that make Chris on the spectrum are all the same things I absolutely love about
That's
him
what
and
she
how I
loves about
fell in
him.
love with him.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
that was lovely. So we were like, can we date you guys?
So listen,
like, they were awesome.
I mean, yeah.
And they during quarantine they did a show for the Food Network called Amy Learns to Cook. And you
Because
get to see Chris cooking because
they're
he's a
stuck
chef.
in a cabin.
He's like a James Beard award-winning chef.
Yeah, he's like
it's
a
no
real
joke.
chef, no kidding.
So I thought that was really cool. It was very surprising.
And they were fantastic on the cooking show.
Yeah.
Chris
yeah.
is funny. They're funny.
I've already downloaded some of the recipes and we're gonna make them.
They're
Like,
really
it's
good.
ridiculous.
Some of the recipes are really good looking.
I'm almost embarrassed how much I now love her. You know what I'm saying? Like it was soup to nuts fantastic.
They're like our new besties and stuff,
We
but
kind of wish in our heads we're like, so when are we gonna hang out with Amy and Chris? And
again,
they don't know us, and now we're probably
Stalking.
stalking-ish.
stalking.
We did watch. We've been watching.
How about movies?
You don't want to talk about Hannibal?
Okay, we'll talk about Hannibal.
Just very quickly, we've been watching Hannibal, which is a great show. However, one episode a week, maybe. Cannot binge that show. One of the things we like to do, make dinner, sit down and eat dinner, and watch a show together. And you really can't
It's
watch
not the
Hannibal
show you
while
want
you're
to
eating.
watch and eat.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, let's go to movies.
Well, can we mention Mads Mikkelsen?
Yeah, Mads
As
Mikkelsen is
Hannibal?
amazing.
He's really good, guys.
He's good in everything.
Very polished, kind of understated.
Not understated. He wears
Sinister.
the greatest clothes ever.
Oh yeah, no, his clothes are.
Yeah.
He's really dapper. He's a dapper doctor.
So let's get to a particularly great movie that we highly recommend if you're looking for action and possibly some sci-fi fantasy stuff. And this is also on Netflix.
Okay, now before we start,
We already started.
you may have heard of this actress. Her name is Charlize Theron.
Is it Theron?
That's how I like to
Charlize
say
Theron?
it. Charlize Theron, the
The
South
hot
African.
tall blonde.
Right now, if you like Atomic Blonde, you are gonna love The Old Guard.
Yeah, so The Old Guard is basically, it tickles all my, sci-fi fantasy fancies, if you will. It's a group of immortals
A small group of immortals, four people.
who are kind of like soldiers of fortune at this point. Nobody can find out about them, but they, supposedly...
They've gone through history.
They do good things, but they
They
it's
try
like...
to affect the world in a positive way, but like I said, 4 people.
It's bad. There's a ton of awesome women kicking scenes, for those of you who care about those kinds of things. Me. So I don't want to say too much about it, but I'm telling you, if you're looking for just some fun, like, action-packed
Oh, yeah.
sci-fi
And
fantasy.
it's well made.
Yeah, very well made.
Yeah.
It's called The Old Guard.
The Old Guard.
The Old Guard.
Definitely
so
worth a watch.
So there you go. You have lots of good recommendations now. We also watched Greyhound. Dave was dying to see Greyhound.
Well, look.
Did you guys watch
I was
Greyhound
riveted
yet?
by the trailer.
It's on Apple
and,
TV Plus, which you may or may not have.
So,
it's not like a typical one that
The point
everybody has.
is, it would have been a theatrical release. All right, it's a big screen movie, really. When you look, I mean, the naval battles and stuff.
It's World War II, right?
It's World War II, and the
U-boats.
premise is that, you know, there's a column of ships working across from the United States.
This is where he doesn't know how to summarize a movie. He just wants to tell you the entire plot of the movie.
Tom Hanks is responsible for a convoy.
And he wrote, and did he direct?
I don't know.
He wrote and produced, for sure. I don't think there are a lot of choice roles, even for somebody of Tom Hanks' stature and that particular age demographic for Hollywood, so you kind of have to write your own. And it's very, I had to ask for the subtitles to be on, because very specific Navy jargon.
There's a lot of.
I was like,
sir.
what's going on? Yeah.
Full, you know.
It's very legitimate.
All head full.
You know?
Yeah.
But I think that...
Prepare to come about. 20 degrees starboard.
I mean, they sort of make the U-boats sound like animals in the water. They sort of sound like killer whales or something.
Yeah, they give it... that's
it's
actually
a bit
music,
much.
but it's not... It is a little much,
but it's okay. I didn't love it. Dave liked it a lot. I didn't love it.
I liked it, just because you haven't really heard a whole lot about the merchant marine and, you know, trying to keep the war, you know, going without actually being involved.
What do we know about World War II as far as the Americans are concerned? Pearl Harbor, Midway, right?
D-Day.
That's it. Those three things.
No, I mean, there's other things.
I mean,
but yeah.
you just don't think about submarine
Everything,
fights, if
you know.
you will.
Right.
So
if you like U-571, you're going to like this.
Is that the one where John Bon Jovi dies spectacularly?
He might.
Decapitated? I
He
think I
deserved it, though.
rewound and
He
played,
deserved it.
rewind and play.
That's the one with McConaughey, right?
I'm not a big fan of John Bon Jovi, thank you very much. So those are all the things that we sort of watched this week. We also watch things separately because as well suited as we are for each other, there are just certain limits we both have. I like to watch things about mermaids and wizards and
Vampires.
but not
and
zombies.
werewolves.
No zombies.
She's anti-zombie.
I have a strict no zombie policy.
It's real, guys.
And Dave, why don't you tell them what you got caught watching?
All right,
this
look at
week?
guys. The whole situation in the world. Maybe you've heard of it.
Wait, Keith Bennett asking how does it stack up against Midway? I think Midway was
It's
better.
No. See, I don't think so.
Okay.
Midway, in a way, we did watch Midway too. We didn't even mention that.
Yeah.
Okay, there's not quite as much action in it. Like Midway was just
I like
a video
the guy,
game.
I really like the guy
movie.
in Midway.
The dude,
Yeah, he was pretty
Dick,
good.
whatever his name was.
I forget his name.
So yeah, that was cool and all, but you already had Pearl Harbor. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it is
Midway
kind of
was just kind of like, what are you gonna do? So we're gonna show them dive bombing and stuff. So that was good.
No, so they want to know what you got caught watching because they're
No, okay.
It's
So, look,
nefarious and it's not
Guys,
exactly.
there's a little part of me inside.
It's not an X-rated thing.
No, it's just a feeling of having to prepare for something. And we're pretty liberal folk around here. I'm not a gun owner, and I never have owned guns, although I enjoy shooting them.
Okay, so you're going to go immediately with that thing that you were caught watching? And
Well,
not
you were
the
saying
other thing you were caught watching?
What do you mean caught watching? It's not like
I walk in, and he's like 16 episodes of some YouTube series of an engineer who figured out a way to rig a speaker out of a piece of
Okay, guys,
cardboard.
I'll come to your house and do it. I know how to do it. It's crazy. This guy can take a 2x4 ceiling tile and put an actuator on it, and the whole tile is a fucking speaker. It's amazing. You heard it. The guy set up the things.
Yes.
It's amazing. And I have to try it.
Yeah, he was like taking notes and stuff. It was crazy.
Man.
Like, The YouTube rabbit holes that he can go down, I'm like, I'll be upstairs watching my mermaids and my wizards. So then I step away for a while, I come back, and it's just shooting. It's like non-stop shooting.
Okay, look. I mean, guys like action movies, yada, 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 right? I'm usually impressed by noticing something that somebody does that's a real pro move. You know what I mean?
You're very smart. You like to learn new things. I get it.
So look, the first John Wick movie I thought was stupid. Okay?
The first. Like I would ever go
The
past
first.
the first.
And
thank you, Fran. She just said happy anniversary.
thank you. Anyhow.
John Wick is very specific.
Okay, the third one, Parabellum, it's weapon porn, and the training that Keanu Reeves did for it is ridiculously amazing.
So did they film his training? Is that what you were watching?
I was watching Keanu Reeves go through these tactical shooting things, and I was astounded. So, I ended up watching John Wick 3 again.
He and his two boys, and they're all like, oh, look at that. Man, do they love that stuff.
No, like I said, the way the world is now, and being liberal, and the meek shall inherit the earth. But how many of us have to get on cattle cars before we do? So I've been thinking about arming ourselves.
Yeah, he wants to like put a bunch of weapons.
No,
in
we're not
a
going to
wall.
talk about it.
No,
We're
we
not
are
gonna
going to talk about it because we're not doing it. We're not having weapons in the house. That's just not happening. We did try to get classy. We have Turner Classic Movies on one of our channels.
Look it.
So we were like going to watch something old that we've never watched before, and he's like, "How about the Maltese Falcon?" And I was like, "Great! I love old movies.
Bogey's
This is
in
great."
it. Peter Lorre's in it. Sidney Greenstreet's in it.
Halfway
Mary
through,
Astor's in it.
I was like, "Honey, we're gonna have to put a pin in
Look.
this. I'm literally falling asleep."
It's based on a story written by Dashiell Hammett. Okay, it's Sam Spade.
I don't think we need to let
Guys,
people know about the Maltese
It's a
Falcon.
classy movie. It looked great. The restoration of it is awesome.
Yeah, the restoration is beautiful. I just didn't think it was that great of a movie, and I'm like, really, this is the thing? I was kind of really underwhelmed. I don't know, but we only got through half of it. Maybe there's a huge reveal at the end that would make me change my mind.
What's crazy is you look at it and Bogey is like towering over Peter Lorre. Peter Lorre must have been like tiny, because Bogey is not a tall guy.
Yeah, no, I think Peter Lorre wasn't even 5 feet tall.
But I like how he talks. Mr. Spade.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's like,
He was remember the
how
cartoon
did
character?
he make it onto movies? That's what I'd like to know. That dude is weirdo. But yeah, all the old Bugs Bunny movies, they would have him in the animated version of them.
Regulus. Dave.
We did also, I think all in all, the best thing we've been watching regularly is Perry Mason.
Right. I think we agree on that.
Yeah, it's very well done.
Okay. I'll tell you, if you're a fan of Chinatown, which I think is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, we need to watch that.
Like
I've never
you're
really.
like it.
I think I watched bits and pieces of it when I was far too young to appreciate it, so I do need to watch that.
Because it's pre-World War II LA. You know?
And Jack Nicholson, of course.
No. I'm talking about Perry Mason.
Oh, I thought we were on to.
So Perry Mason
Wrap it up.
is good. Watch it. John Lithgow.
John Lithgow is really
Yeah,
incredible.
he's
we know
really
he's a
good,
good
yeah.
actor, but this particular role.
And the story is kind of horrible.
He's outstanding.
You know.
So there's our recommendations for what to watch this week, and we are now going to turn to the Newlywed Game lightning round of questions to see how well Dave and I actually know each other on the eve of our 5th anniversary. We've been living together and we've been Brady Bunched up, blended family, for 3 years this month, and we've been romantically entangled for 5.
Right.
So, hey, Eric Pistana, glad you're here.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to step on you talking, you know?
No, that's okay. So, Casey, do you have your first question? Shall you fire away? Fire when ready.
It's quite dark.
Isn't that what he says? And when they're getting ready to fire the Death Star, you may fire when ready.
Right. Yes. Peter Cushing.
I assumed you guys were together way longer. I love that, Franny. It does seem that way, doesn't it? Because we're very well suited for each other. I always call him my unicorn. What is each other's favorite pizza topping? Okay. Dave's favorite pizza topping is meat. The more meat, the better, but specifically a sausage.
Yeah. I mean...
Am I correct?
Yeah. Can we put some regatta on there, too?
Sure.
And you can join me for it.
All right, now you... What topping on a pizza?
Oh boy, I don't know. I would have said your favorite topping on a pizza, mushrooms.
It's mushroom and onion, so pretty good.
Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good. Keith Bennett, asking a question for you. Do you prefer Vans or Adidas?
Hey, where you been? It's all Adidas all the time, buddy.
I will say in the 90s, I was very partial to Vans, but yeah, it's always been Adidas, really.
You could say she spent a lot of time in Vans in the 90s.
I thought you didn't know about my sordid past. So 5th anniversary apparently is wood. Are you going to give me some wood later? I went there. I did went there.
My goodness.
All right, more questions, please. I'm trying to scroll back to see if there are any others so far. Casey did have an interesting question earlier, and I told him to save it. What were we wearing on our first date? So I remember what you were wearing. Do you remember what I was
you
wearing?
had on. One thing I know you were wearing. She was wearing shell toes and like a tutu. You had like shorts on, but there was like a tutu. Yes, there was.
A tutu?
Yes.
You mean like a skirt? I had a skirt on?
Like but it was puffy, like, you know, like...
No idea what you're talking about.
I'm not making it up.
I think that was another girl you met.
No.
Yeah.
Because yeah. That's a day that sticks out in my head.
I'm sure I had Andrea.
Hey, what was I wearing?
You were wearing a dad shirt. You were wearing like a Tommy Bahama, like, it wasn't Tommy Bahama, I'm sure, but it was like a Hawaiian shirt type, but not that print. It was a very subdued print, but he was dressed like a dad. He had like cargo shorts, a dad shirt, and probably Adidas.
I had gazelles on.
Yeah, you had gazelles on, that's right. Where was your first date?
Okay, so...
okay, but that's not us asking each other.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do. This is the Newlywed Game. Sporty ballerina. I swear to you, I was not wearing anything ballerina related.
I'm telling you guys.
I'm going to have to go back and ask Michelle Goldberg now because she was there before we left for our date. Here was problem number 1 with the date, and there were many problems. We had been talking for a week straight on the phone. We met through Tinder. And we were up like hours and hours on the phone. Ridiculous, like we were high school, kids. And we finally decided to meet because both of our lives were so busy. I was broadcasting outside the first time the Foo Fighters played
you were
Fenway.
in the Cask and Flagon.
I was in the Cask and Flagon, and I asked him to meet me there. And at the end of the gig, we would go get food.
Bad idea.
If you're a DJ on a radio station, do not invite the possible future love of your life to your event. Not a good idea.
Yeah. A little, yeah.
So that was like the first of many mistakes. We had the worst first date ever.
We joked it was the worst first date ever.
All right, so more questions that you can ask Dave about me or me about Dave. What was your first pet named? Oh, I don't know that you had a pet when you were little.
That's not very nice. Remember I told you about my grandfather's dog that bit my finger?
No, I don't. I didn't have pets growing up. My mom was deathly allergic, so
Yeah,
that's
we
probably
you know
not
what?
the greatest
In the
question.
dollhouse we didn't have a whole lot of pets.
All right, what is their go-to karaoke song? Oh, David is Hawaiian shirts. His cousin is totally
It's been a
backing
while,
me up.
Shelley. It's been a while.
Thank you, Shelley. Mwah.
Yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you so much. A go-to karaoke song. Well, okay. What song am I sort of famous for singing at a live karaoke at TT the Bear's place while I had my foot in a cast?
I can see the picture.
Singing with Paul Buckley from.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it a
Seen the
popular
picture.
song?
It's a very popular classic rock song.
American Girl?
Yeah. Motorin'.
Oh, what?
What's
Sister
your-
Christian?
What's your price for flight? So
That's not a classic rock song.
It certainly is.
Nope.
Are you going to argue with the chick who works for the classic rock station? Ranger, Sister Christian, classic
Listen.
rock song.
I have it on vinyl.
Okay, so
Not a classic rock song.
your go-to karaoke song would be James Brown. Whatever he knows every word to like the in-between lyric banter, like the whole thing he knows. And I can't remember what song it is, but it's James Brown.
Man.
Can I hit it?
Fellas, I'm getting ready to get up and thing. I want to get into it, man. You know, like a sex machine, man.
Oh, right,
Moving,
sex machine.
doing it, you know. Can I count it off? A 1, 2, 3, 4.
Dun, 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 dun.
I know it inside and out.
He knows the whole thing by heart. We listen to it in the car once in a while, and he'll just do the whole thing. And then he gets mad when it gets cut off because it's not the whole
Oh, they don't play
version.
the right version of it.
I'm sorry, but it's still technically classic rock. Keith Bennett backed me up.
It's really not. It's
Jim
somewhere in
Heracati
between.
says it's hair metal, not classic rock.
I
That is
wouldn't put it with hair metal
barely
either.
hair metal.
Yeah, you know.
Barely.
Yeah.
I mean, part of being hair metal is you wouldn't want to introduce those dudes to your parents. I
Yeah.
feel like the Night Ranger guys could totally be
Oh,
at
no,
a
it'd be-
Thanksgiving
yeah.
dinner. Nobody would be upset at
Yeah.
all. They're like, "Are you a mechanic?" Like it wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah. That was. It's more like
yeah.
Sammy Hagar-ish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But more questions. Good. What is the first movie you saw together?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Ant-Man?
Yeah. Yep.
At Cinema Salem, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And that was the day I met Kendall.
That was the first day you met
Mhm.
the daughter.
Yep.
And how did I meet your sons for the first time? Well, I met them over the phone for the first time.
Right. When they called us from jail.
And I put
no.
them on the radio.
That is true.
I was scoring major points with the possible future love of my life's children.
Right. For
by
about a half
putting
hour.
them on the ZLX airwaves.
For about a half hour, they thought she was the coolest.
Okay, Keith Bennett wants to know, do you share shampoo and conditioner, or is there a serious line of demarcation
Yeah.
in the shower caddy?
Mhm. Like the 38th parallel, brother.
Okay, we share shower gel soap because it's like a, what is it, black sand Hawaiian or
It's
something?
volcanic,
Yeah.
anti-pollution,
It's the best.
Alba Botanica. We love it.
But our hair care is very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just head and shoulders guy. No
Who's a
conditioner.
Dude. I'm a dude,
I
and
don't like
I
flakes.
shampoo my hair with a dude shampoo.
I don't condition.
I have like a whole keratin for blonde thing.
Yeah, she's
that I
a-
use.
yeah.
I'm a total chick.
It's dark purple. Her hair stuff.
Casey Riddles has a really good question for us. What is your most prized possession, like the item that you would save in a fire?
Okay, not
For
counting.
me and for you, so we have to
Okay.
answer for each other.
Okay. Oh,
Prize
okay, so,
possession, not
so
our children.
Right now, as things stand, your prized possession,
Mine?
yours,
Okay.
is your new iPad.
I don't know that counts. Does that count? I was thinking more like a thing that you've had like for a lot, like, I don't even know that that's a thing. You would already have it, right? Like. You
Oh
would
no,
already,
are you assuming that?
I don't know. Sure. Right now, my
okay, hold
iPad
on.
Pro is definitely
Wait a
thing,
minute.
but if there was a fire, would I really go back in to get the iPad
I think
Pro?
she would try to go
Probably.
back her shoe collection.
My shoe collection are Adidas shell toes. It's not like I'm Imelda Martin.
And it's like, I bought most of them for her because that's how we roll.
That is how we roll.
She gets gifts.
Your most prized possession. That is a toughie.
There's so much stuff, right? I'm just like, I collect so much stuff.
I would imagine it might be a Boba Fett related item. But then also like there's like your Jeff Beck t-shirt or your Van Halen t-shirt.
I'd be wearing it.
Or a particular pair of sneakers that you won't even let me look at.
No.
I don't know. What would it be?
It's hanging on the wall.
Is it the Eddie Van Halen guitar?
No.
Which guitar?
That's
is
Chinese.
it?
It's easily replaceable.
Which guitar is the one that you would run back in
The
a fire?
blue one is an American-made Gibson.
So that
The one with the squiggles all over it with the doodles is an Ibanez from Japan, 1991.
is that the one you would?
That I think that guitar right there,
This one right
that
there.
is a Carbon TL60 or whatever, with active electronics, and it's got dual outputs. I'd probably take that. Fully customized, made in USA. I'd probably grab that.
Keith Bennett wants Snickers or Reese's. I'm gonna say right now that Dave would probably prefer Reese's than Snickers.
Okay, and she definitely would prefer Reese's.
No,
Snickers, they have the nuts. It's kind of hard.
I like the nuts.
She likes hard nuts, guys. What can I say?
She's into malakas and
What
she
can I
likes
say?
hard nuts.
What can I say?
He wants to. Lewis Warren wants to know if that's a Paul Stanley item.
Is not a Paul Stanley Ibanez. That Ibanez there is an RG550. It came out about the same time that Steve Vai's Gem came out.
Another question: if we were on a show like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, who would our phone a friend be? Now, obviously,
Each
we
of
have
us?
to exclude each other.
Okay.
Because you would be the dude I would call for pretty much any question I needed. But yeah, who would I be calling for a $1 million question?
I don't want to piss anybody off. I think it would be Sam Parker.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it kind of depends on the question, but Sam's right up there.
Right up there. Yeah.
I would probably, depending on the type of question, if it was anything pop culture related that I didn't know, it would be Greg Weimer.
That's true. Yeah.
Greg Weimer and I used to work together at FNX. He was the producer of the Asleep at the Wheel morning show, and he was actually on the game show on MTV known as Remote Control. He was an actual contestant, and he won. And when Greg and I first met, I was like, you look really familiar, because they ran his game as a promo for the show for years. That he was in the commercial. For
Remote Control was where Adam Sandler got his start.
Yep, the stud boy.
Kari Wuhrer was on that.
Mm-hmm.
What the New York comedian Colin Quinn was on
who
there.
shows up a lot in Amy Schumer's
Yeah.
stuff, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, they're friends.
And Ken, who was the...
No one cares. Ken Olin?
No, Ken Olin.
No, Ken Olin was from
Yeah.
30 something.
But it was something like that. His name was Ken something. I'm trying to think.
I have the home game. It's downstairs.
He went nuts and bought like every trivia game known to man, thinking we would make our own trivia questions. We did that exactly once, and it almost killed us. So, if anyone who wants to
listen,
trivia
the
games,
knife fights.
or just
The
come
knife
take
fights
them
were
from
kind of
us.
vicious.
Any more questions for us on our 5th anniversary? Ken Ober, Gilly for the win. Gilly for the win. Thank you, Andrew Gillis. Please watch Gilly and her hubby every Sunday night. Devotion. The songs are fantastic.
Because they are devotion.
They are devotion.
And they've got nothing to be guilty of.
And that other dude from Nights in Prosperity? I don't know what that is.
And that other dude from Nights...
okay. Casey Riddles is asking us to answer for each other, what is each other's dream car?
Hers is a Honda CR-V.
I mean, yes, it's the car that I own. It's the only one I've really ever, like, actively...
She's only coveted that car.
But if I had money, I would get a muscle car. Like,
really?
Yeah, I love muscle cars. Big fan. Yeah. For you, it's a specific M-Class BMW and a specific color blue, and I always forget the model number. He's such a gearhead. And all we do is talk about cars when we're driving. Oh, look, it's a blah, blah, blah. Oh, look, it's a blah, blah, blah.
That's not right.
Yeah, it is. But at least we know that. So I think...
I would probably say the 1967 Mustang, the Eleanor, from Gone in 60 Seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
You wouldn't get the BMW, you literally
Oh, wait a
talk
minute.
about once a day?
But then there's, like a BMW M5 maybe, or an M6 convertible, or an M8 now convertible.
There was a time where I really wanted a Jaguar, but I don't know how to drive stick, and I don't want to learn, so I think I would get, like, my, awesome card taken away if I made them make a Jag into an automatic. I think that's a mortal sin.
Yeah, no, they do have Jags that are automatic. Don't get.
Yeah, but I think
it wouldn't be the nice one.
Yeah, that's like
wouldn't
buying
be
a
the F-Pack.
Lamborghini and only taking it to the store down the street forever. I just don't think that's a good idea.
Right.
So this was fun as far as the lightning round goes. It's 8:17, and we usually go to 8:30 on Wednesday nights. So we could continue with stuff we listened to this week and stuff we ate this week. And if you have any more questions, we will happily answer them for you.
Yeah.
Within
reason.
Have to scroll up because we kept copious notes on what we actually listened to and ate.
What would be each other's last meal?
Oh, last meal is
That's
good.
a good one, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh.
You were married to a chef. Oh God.
Yes, I was married to a chef. What is your favorite meal? Well, it's obviously something I cook. That's not true at all.
Obviously.
I'm going to say for Dave, it's just a perfectly steak, for sure. Probably a porterhouse. A baked potato with everything that goes on it. And roasted Brussels sprouts with bacon.
That'd be nice. I like that.
That would be his last meal.
But what's the dessert?
Well, dessert would be ice cream, because duh.
Wait. It'd be ice cream and what?
In what?
And what?
Ice cream and cake? What do you mean?
How about Bananas Foster?
Oh, Bananas Foster. Yeah, he's a little she. So what would mine be?
You're one of those highfalutin broads.
When it comes to food, kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, not really. I like mostly peasant food type stuff, but
Yeah.
I can get down with some serious hoity-toity when I need to.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you, I think you would go, I think you'd go berserk for, like, the best lobster roll anywhere.
Lobster rolls at the Salem Willows in the place that used to be a bathroom.
That's really the best lobster roll?
Around here it is, yeah. It's one of the
Alright,
best.
so let me think.
Okay,
What?
we're getting some very interesting questions. Lewis Warren, I'm a super love nerd, but what's your song? Like, do we have a song?
It's strange. I don't know
We
if
have
we
a
have a
band.
song.
All right, so something very specific happened.
It kind of dovetails with the.
So Casey Riddles asked, who said I love you first? And we can answer both of those questions in one. We don't necessarily have a song, although I Can't Feel My Face was huge when we first met, which is odd.
She was in.
The Weekend!
And she kept feeling my face, like.
Yeah, I did. Lots of feelies. So, we had the worst first date ever, and then we tried to figure out. We were spectacular because we love all the same stuff, and we completed each other's sentences, and we're both know-it-alls, and whatever, and we love the same kinds of music and movies and TV and the whole thing, Star Wars. But it took us a minute to find our footing. So there we were. We had almost broken up before we really even got started, and I sort of gave Dave a challenge, and I said, "All right, well, if you want, you're gonna have to fight for me." So for did all the right things, and the end of the week, again, another gig broadcasting live from Gillette Stadium for AC/DC.
And Josh Pickering was there.
With his dad.
Jim Murray was there.
Yeah, you got to meet a whole lot of the tight family crew
So,
early.
and Josh was taking awesome pictures. Wow.
Yeah, no, those pictures are
So
amazing.
we went up and into the where the seats are, and but before we did that,
Yeah, I gotta take over.
so we
this
were in
part.
CBS scene.
We're in the middle. We've just finished the broadcast, but we're not ready to go to the show yet, right? I think maybe the broadcast. But
Yeah.
it was winding down.
We were kind of hanging out there.
And I have a very specific rule where I don't say I love you first. My whole life, I've only said I love you first once, and I married the guy, and then I divorced the guy. But whatever, he's still awesome, and he's my baby daddy. So I wasn't going to. I knew we were in love. Like I knew weeks before that, I knew we were in love, but I wasn't going to say it. And somebody came by the broadcast who was like, a fan, I guess, of mine, like, and really liked, me or whatever. And he came up and said hi, and I think it was the first time I had met him in person. He used to call me on my show all the time, whatever. And I introduced him to Dave, but it was, the energy was, Dave was like,
Because he was more than a fan. You know what I mean?
He was a very nice guy. Very nice guy.
I mean,
and Dave said something like, should I leave you alone? And I was like, and what the retort was, it had the word, somebody I'm in love with, in the answer. No, I'm not going to go spend time with this dude to get away from somebody I'm falling in love with. Whatever it was like completely reactionary, and the word just flew out of my mouth. And the second it was out, I was like, I was so mad. He looked at me.
And I said, I love you.
No, you didn't.
No.
He did not say it in that moment. We stopped talking about it. We went and saw the show. And then, as many shows at Gillette Stadium, we got stuck in the parking lot for hours.
We didn't say it before we went up to the seats?
No. You said it in the car. Hour number 3, I believe. You finally said, I'm in love with you.
Wow.
So that was it. It all happened with AC/DC.
That's not how I remember it, baby.
So we don't necessarily have a song, but AC/DC is our band.
Thunderstruck, we kind of feel a little,
Thunderstruck, I guess, in a way. That certainly totally describes our relationship to a T, right?
Oh boy. Our song is the Imperial March.
So, 5 years. Do you have a favorite couple type memory?
I have a couple.
romantic person?
Not really. Not. I'll tell you.
Alright, fine.
You know. Get the camera rolling.
I will say, one of my favorite things about you is that you always bring me little things. Like, anytime you go to a store, I'm obviously always on your mind because you bring something home for me. Even when it's something you actually want for yourself. Which sometimes happens with specific Star Wars gear.
About?
You'd be like, look, I got this 8 feet tall stormtrooper for you. And I'm like, really? That's for me? That's not for the collection? Okay.
Hey, listen, don't sweat the collection.
I've always been the person in the relationship that has given 80% all the time. No one ever met me halfway. I was one to be sort of and then I met you, and we were very well 50%.
It's even Steven?
Even Steven.
Who the f*** is the Steven guy?
I also love that you do get a little jealous. It's important. I think if you're with somebody who is not ever jealous, like ever, like, I don't get jealous. I'm suspect of that. I think you need to be a little bit. Like, there are times when we're out at a party or whatever, and some chick will be talking him up like he's the cat's pajamas. And I'm just kind of sitting back and being like, look at this broad right here, thinking my man is available because he doesn't have a ring on his finger. And yeah, there's definitely a point. And then I walked up this particular time and she was like, oh my God. And I was like, yeah, so, and somebody, whatever it was, she immediately realized I was the girlfriend. And she started going, I love your shirt. I was like, that's great. Move aside. So yeah, I get jealous too. Thunder! First kiss, who was in more percentage-wise? Oh, Tachi.
First kiss?
We can't talk about
No,
the
we're
first
not talking
kiss.
about that on air.
That's for another episode.
That's a whole episode.
That is a whole
The
episode.
worst date ever.
Worst first date ever. Show, worst first date ever. And I think that's where we should, I think. On that note.
What do you mean? You want to break up?
No, I don't want to break up.
Oh, okay.
God.
I got nervous there for a
We
minute.
have all this stuff.
I know.
We
I
can
wouldn't
never
be
break
able
up.
to. Yeah, my stuff is just too.
So
You're where my stuff is.
we want to say thank you to everybody who's been on tonight and watching. He's like, come on. No, I'm telling you, we are going to save the first kiss for another episode because we cannot possibly sum it up in a couple minutes. There's so much that went wrong. If you have the worst date ever, you could have the greatest romance.
It's great. It's pretty great.
We got everything
my
out
life
on
is
that
so
first
much
date.
better than it was before. It's really no. It's true.
Yeah. I love you.
I love you.
I love you. What's that?
All right, I love you. I said it.
Thank you guys for watching.
Jeez.
The worst show ever. The worst talk show.
The worst talk show.
The worst hashtag the worst talk show. Tell your friends. Thank you guys for joining us and saying happy anniversary. We will be back next week, Wednesday night, 7:30, with more things to watch and to listen to and to eat, and maybe we'll eventually get to the listening and eating portion next week because we didn't this week.
I'm not going to eat anything.
You're not going to eat anything? You know, you say that, and then I find you knee deep in some Brigham's Just Jimmy's.
Let's not even get started on that either, because
Right.
that's a
You
whole
can
other
go
story.
stand up and shut it off because I did last week.
I'm going to lean in.
Oh, no, extreme close. No, don't do it.